A fully loaded aircraft disappears in perfect weather. No distress call, no debris, in less time than it takes to speak. For decades, this was treated as a dangerous place, a fixed zone on a map. But fixed locations produce repeatable patterns, and these disappearances never followed one. Because the variable was never location, it was timing. The Bermuda Triangle is not a place. It is an event structure, and structures can be analyzed. This shift in perspective is crucial, transforming our search from trying to locate a hidden geological or magnetic anomaly to trying to predict a perfectly timed confluence of temporary, measurable, and repeatable natural catastrophes. If the triangle were truly a fixed location, planes and ships would be vanishing with absolute predictable regularity, victims of some constant subterranean force. But they do not. The disappearances are sporadic, clustered, and often separated by decades of utter, unremarkable calm. The great tragedies, the loss of Flight 19, the USS Cyclops, the Star Tiger, do not represent the norm within the triangle's boundaries. They represent rare, catastrophic temporal spikes. This implies that the threat is not resident in the water or the air above those coordinates, but rather emerges only when specific, highly unstable environmental components align in a sudden, overwhelming manifestation. Critics often rightly point out that, given the density of air and sea traffic passing through this vast area, over 500,000 square miles, the loss rate is statistically comparable to other busy oceanic routes, particularly those prone to sudden tropical storm development. But statistical averages fail spectacularly when confronted with the signature cases. Standard meteorological events, even the most violent hurricanes, leave behind wreckage, distress signals, and debris fields. The signature of the Bermuda Triangle's deepest mysteries is the complete systemic disappearance, silent, immediate, and total. No mayday, no floating wreckage, no oil slick. Nothing but the lingering, terrifying silence where a multi-ton vessel or aircraft once was. This complete obliteration demands an explanation beyond standard mechanical or atmospheric failure. It requires a mechanism capable of rapid, simultaneous, multi-system breakdown and immediate sequestration of physical evidence. This is where the concept of the event finds its footing. We are looking for something that is simultaneously environmental, electromagnetic, and potentially geological, and crucially, short-lived. We must open our minds to the idea that during these brief, lethal intervals, the ocean environment in a highly localized spot undergoes a phase change. A temporary alteration so profound that it strips away all navigational reference points, renders communications useless, and compromises the buoyancy or lift capabilities of everything within its grasp. Think about what that means. This is not a single force. It is not one anomaly operating in isolation. It is a system, multiple independent variables, each unstable on its own, colliding at the same point in time and space. The ocean doesn't become a trap. It becomes an engine, and it only turns on for minutes. Consider the known environmental precursors unique to this region. The Western Atlantic is geologically unstable, riddled with vast reserves of frozen methane hydrate trapped beneath the seafloor. When localized tectonic shifts, however minor, or rapid temperature changes in the deep currents cause these hydrates to warm, they undergo a violent process of off-gassing. Massive plumes of low-density methane gas surge upwards through the water column. If a ship happens to be positioned directly above one of these sudden, massive eruptions, the water beneath its hull instantly loses its inherent density and buoyancy. A ship does not sink in this scenario. It simply drops through the aerated water, pulled under by gravity, potentially disappearing in seconds without time for a single alarm to be sounded. This mechanism is rare, but its effects are absolute. The key is that the eruption is not constant. It is a temporary burst, an event that explains the ships. But what about the aircraft? The Gulf Stream, one of the fastest-moving, warmest ocean currents on Earth, runs directly through this region. It is not just a current. It is a thermal engine. It pumps heat into the atmosphere continuously, creating a constant tension between the warm surface and the cold air masses above. Under most conditions, that tension releases gradually, but in specific configurations, when the temperature differential spikes, when the air pressure drops suddenly, the system misfires. The result is a microburst, a concentrated column of descending air that hits the ocean surface with devastating force. Wind speeds can exceed 100 miles per hour, generated in minutes, with almost no warning on radar, no time to reroute, no time to brace. And it is not just microbursts. The same thermal instability generates extreme wind shear, sudden, violent changes in wind direction and speed at different altitudes. For an aircraft, this is not turbulence. It is a structural assault. It tears at the airframe from multiple directions simultaneously. The atmosphere in this region does not just create bad weather. In the right conditions, it creates a weapon, fast, invisible, and over before any distress signal can be sent. Now we introduce the electromagnetic component, and this is where it gets unsettling. The Earth's magnetic field is not uniform. The Bermuda Triangle area sits uncomfortably close to the periphery of the South Atlantic anomaly, a massive dip in the Earth's inner Van Allen radiation belt, where the planet's protective shield is at its weakest. While the core of the SAA is further south, the electromagnetic variance and instability experienced in the Western Atlantic are significant. This instability is normally manageable, but when combined with rapid atmospheric electrification and powerful localized weather systems, like rapidly forming microbursts, the resulting confluence can lead to severe electromagnetic interference. Imagine the scenario. A flight enters an area simultaneously experiencing a sudden, localized, electrically charged storm cell and an electromagnetic wave propagating from a temporary magnetic field shift. In modern aircraft, where navigation, communication, and even engine function are deeply reliant on complex electronic systems, a severe spike or collapse in the ambient electromagnetic field can induce simultaneous, catastrophic failure across multiple, redundant systems. Compass spins wildly, power flickers, radio transmissions become unintelligible noise, and the pilot is plunged into a blinding white or blue fog, a phenomenon often reported by those who narrowly escaped a major disappearance. This sudden blindness and complete navigational confusion, known technically as spatial disorientation, is lethal, particularly if the aircraft is simultaneously struck by severe turbulence. But the complete radio silence remains the chilling signature. It suggests that the communication systems were not merely failing due to power loss, they were overwhelmed by outside forces. A massive transient blast of broadband electromagnetic noise, rendering even emergency transmissions impossible. This level of simultaneous system failure is not mere coincidence. It is the consequence of a perfectly timed environmental assault, not simply a bad day in a fixed location. The event, therefore, can be defined as the momentary intersection of three independent, highly volatile natural phenomena. 1. Geological instability, an active methane hydrate off-gassing incident, critical for ships. 2. Atmospheric violence, the rapid generation of a localized, severe weather phenomenon, microbursts, rogue waves, or extreme wind shear. 3. Electromagnetic variance, a temporary spike or dip in the local magnetic field coupled with extreme atmospheric electrification, critical for aircraft. When these three components align, they create a statistical singularity, a brief period, perhaps lasting no more than 5 to 10 minutes, where the environment is utterly hostile to human technology and standard physics. This singularity is not located at a fixed point. It moves with the currents and the weather systems. We have been searching for an active volcano on a static map, when we should be tracking a perfect alignment of celestial bodies. A transient, powerful force born of synchronized timing. The true mystery of the Bermuda Triangle is not where these objects disappeared. It is when and how quickly the conditions became fatal. If the area were inherently dangerous, we would have established consistent patterns, warning systems, fixed geological markers. We have none, precisely because the danger is migratory and ephemeral. The implication of accepting the Bermuda Triangle as an event rather than a place is profound. It removes the need for supernatural or extraterrestrial explanations and replaces them with highly localized, temporary geophysical mechanics. It suggests that the legendary mystery is solvable, but only if we shift our focus from folklore to highly detailed, temporal scientific modeling, not looking at the stillness of the deep sea floor, but at the dynamic, chaotic interaction between the Earth's crust, the ocean's vast thermal engine, and the protective instability of our planet's magnetic shield. The location is merely the geographic stage. The timing is the weapon. Every disappearance left a date. Every date left data, weather records, seismic logs, geomagnetic flux reports. The evidence is not buried at the bottom of the ocean. It is buried deep within the historical records of those terrifying, silent days. The question is no longer where they vanished. The question is, can we predict when it will happen again?